A meeting ends, people say their goodbyes, log off, close their laptops, and then in a follow-up message, a quick call, or a hallway conversation, the real conversation begins. I actually disagreed with that decision. I had a totally different idea, but I didn't want to say it. I think we're making a mistake. Researchers have a name for this conversation. They call it the meeting after the meeting. And here's what's wild about it. The honest conversation almost always happens after the meeting, just never inside it. My name is Mtavisi. I've coached hundreds of founders, executives, and professionals as a public speaking coach. And I recently ran a workshop for a room full of senior leaders and executives. When I showed them the real reasons people stay silent at work, every single person in that room said they'd experienced it. Not the junior employees, the executives, the people who were supposed to already have a seat at the table. So today I want to talk about why smart, capable people stay quiet in rooms, in virtual calls that matter the most, what it's actually costing them, and what to do about it. Harvard researcher Amy Edmondson has spent decades studying this, and her research found that before people speak up, they run a quick risk assessment in their head. They're trying to avoid being seen as one of 5 things. Number 1, hierarchy. The belief that it's not their place. Someone more senior should speak first. So they hold back and wait for permission that never comes. Number 2, fear of judgment. The fear of being seen as not knowing something. This one hits smart people the hardest because the smarter you are, the more you've built your identity around being the person who knows the answer. So the idea of asking a question or sharing an unfinished thought feels like a threat to who you are. Number 3, fear of conflict. Worried that disagreeing will create tension. So they smooth it over by saying nothing and let the room or the call move on without their honest opinion. Number 4, imposter syndrome. The quiet belief that everyone else in the room is more qualified to speak than they are, even when nothing about your track record actually supports that belief. And number 5, past punishment. You spoke up before and it didn't go well. Maybe you were dismissed or embarrassed and decided never again. See, most people don't experience just one of these. You experience 2 or 3 on top of each other, and the result is the same every time. The good idea gets saved for the hallway or the direct message after the call ends, for the meeting after the meeting. Here's why this matters more than people realize. It's not just that the room misses your idea. It's what it does to you over time. Every time you stay quiet when you had something real to say, you're not just losing that one moment. You are reinforcing a belief. The belief that what you think doesn't matter enough to say out loud. And that belief gets stronger every single time you let it win. So think about the cost in your own career, the promotion that went to someone else who spoke up in the room you stayed quiet in, the credit someone else got for the idea that you had first but never said, the frustration of watching a decision get made that you knew was wrong and saying nothing, then carrying that frustration home with you. Research on workplace disengagement backs this up. The most competent, self-aware people are often the quickest to go quiet, not because they have less to offer, because they've learned to perform a smaller version of themselves to feel safe. And that performance becomes a habit. The more you practice staying small, the more natural staying small starts to feel. Until one day you look up and realize the version of you that used to have opinions, that used to challenge things, that used to raise a hand has quietly gone missing. See, that's the real cost, not a missed meeting, a slow erosion of your own confidence in your own voice, until speaking up starts to feel like something other people do, not something you do. So how do you actually change this for yourself? I teach my clients something I call private speaking. It's the conversation happening in your head before you ever open your mouth or unmute yourself. Negative private speaking sounds like the 5 reasons we talked about. What if they think I don't know what I'm talking about? What if this creates conflict? What if I'm wrong? Positive private speaking flips that script entirely. Instead of running worst case scenarios, you start asking a different question. What is the best thing that could happen if I speak up right now? Maybe someone in the room needed to hear exactly what you were about to say. Maybe your idea is the one that moves the project forward. Maybe speaking up gives someone else in the room or on the call the courage to share their idea too. Negative private speaking happens automatically. It's the default. So the way that you interrupt it is by making the positive version just as automatic. Before your next meeting, actually write your best case scenario down. Put it somewhere you'll see it right before you walk in or hop on that call. Having it physically in front of you breaks the autopilot and gives your mind something deliberate to return to instead. I had a corporate client tell me that this single reframe helped with anxiety that she had been carrying for years. Not a magic trick, just a different question made physical. When you train your mind to look for the best case scenario, it starts to look for evidence to support it. And that evidence builds the confidence to actually speak up. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't only on the individual. Edmondson's research is just as much about leaders as it is about people staying quiet in rooms. Leaders shape whether a room or a call feels safe enough to speak through how they react in 3 seconds after someone disagrees with them, through whether they actively invite other perspectives or simply tolerate them when offered, through whether speaking up gets rewarded or quietly, subtly punished, through a sigh, a dismissive comment, or simply being talked over. So if you're a leader watching this, the question isn't just, why is my team staying quiet? It's, what am I doing, even unintentionally, that's teaching them silence is safer than speaking up? Because here's the truth. Your best people are already telling you what's wrong. They're just telling each other in the hallway or in a DM instead of telling you. That's actually a whole topic on its own, because what leaders specifically can do to fix this deserves its own conversation. I'll be covering that in detail in my next video. The meeting after the meeting shouldn't exist. The honest conversation should be happening in the room, not in the hallway or on the call or in a random DM after the call. That starts with the stories that you are telling yourself before you speak. Your best ideas are not supposed to live in the meeting after the meeting. If this resonated with you, make sure you watch my next video. I'll see you there.